Deep inside South America lies the Pantanal, the largest tropical wetland on Earth, a world ruled by water, heat, floods, droughts, predators, and survival. Stretching across Brazil, Bolivia, and Paraguay, this extraordinary ecosystem is home to jaguars, caimans, capybaras, giant otters, anacondas, hyacinth macaws, tapirs, deer, and hundreds of bird species. The Pantanal's wildlife depends on one powerful rhythm, the annual cycle of flood and dry season. When the water rises, life spreads. When the water retreats, predators gather. The Pantanal is widely described as the world's largest tropical wetland, extending across Brazil, Bolivia, and Paraguay, with seasonal flooding shaping its entire ecosystem. Reports also describe it as a biodiversity hotspot with hundreds of bird and fish species, and as a refuge for jaguars, giant otters, hyacinth macaws, and other threatened animals. In the heart of South America, there is a place where the land breathes with water. For part of the year, it becomes a vast inland sea. Rivers overflow, grasslands disappear, forests turn into islands, and animals move through a world that constantly changes shape. Then, when the dry season arrives, the water retreats. The lakes shrink, the rivers become hunting corridors. Fish gather in shallow pools. Birds fill the sky, caimans line the riverbanks, capybaras graze nervously near the water, and somewhere in the shadows, the jaguar waits. This is the Pantanal, one of the most extraordinary wildlife regions on Earth. It is not as famous as the Amazon. It is not as legendary as the Serengeti. But for those who understand wildlife, the Pantanal is one of the greatest natural theaters on the planet. A flooded kingdom, a predator's paradise, a world where every animal lives according to the rhythm of water. This is the Pantanal, Brazil's secret kingdom of jaguars. The Pantanal is located in the center of South America. Most of it lies in Brazil, especially in the states of Mato Grosso and Mato Grosso do Sul, but it also extends into Bolivia and Paraguay. It is often described as the largest tropical wetland in the world. The name, Pantanal, comes from words connected to swamp, marsh, or wetland. But this place is not just a swamp. It is a complex mosaic of rivers, lagoons, flooded grasslands, gallery forests, savannas, palm groves, and seasonal lakes. Here, the landscape changes dramatically between the wet season and the dry season. During the rainy season, large areas of the floodplain are submerged. The water spreads across the land, carrying nutrients, feeding plants, connecting rivers, and creating temporary habitats for fish, birds, reptiles, and mammals. During the dry season, the water retreats. What was once an endless flooded plain becomes a network of rivers, pools, exposed banks, and open grasslands. This is when wildlife becomes easier to see, and when survival becomes more dangerous. The Pantanal is a place ruled by seasons. Not by winter and summer as many people understand them, but by water and drought. Flood and retreat, abundance and hunger, life and death. The climate of the Pantanal is tropical. It is hot, humid during the rainy months, and much drier during the dry season. The wet season usually brings heavy rainfall and flooding. The rivers rise slowly, and the flat land allows water to spread over enormous areas. This flood cycle is not a disaster for the Pantanal. It is the engine of life. The flood carries nutrients across the land. Fish move into flooded areas to feed and reproduce. Aquatic plants grow, insects multiply, birds arrive in huge numbers. Mammals use islands and higher ground as refuge. Then the water begins to fall. Fish are trapped in shrinking pools. Caimans gather, herons, storks, ibises, and spoonbills search the shallows. Giant otters patrol the rivers. Jaguars move along the banks, where prey becomes easier to find. The Pantanal is not a static environment. It is a living machine powered by water. The annual flooding is so important that scientists and conservationists warn that disturbing the river system could damage fish populations, bird nesting areas, and the wider food chain. One major concern is the proposed development of the Paraguay River as an industrial waterway, because dredging and altering river flow could disrupt the natural flood pattern. In the Pantanal, water is not just part of the landscape. Water is the architect. The jaguar is the most powerful predator in the Pantanal. Muscular, silent, and almost invisible when it moves through the vegetation, the jaguar is built for ambush. Unlike many big cats that avoid water, the jaguar is comfortable in rivers, swamps, and flooded forests. In the Pantanal, water does not stop the jaguar. It helps the jaguar hunt. Here, jaguars often patrol riverbanks, waiting for caimans, capybaras, and other animals that come close to the water. Reports from the region describe Pantanal jaguars hunting caimans and capybaras along rivers, especially in areas where the animals concentrate near remaining water. The jaguar's bite is one of its most famous weapons. It can attack with tremendous force, often targeting the skull or neck of its prey. Its diet in the Pantanal can include caimans, capybaras, deer, peccaries, birds, reptiles, and fish when available. The jaguar is not only a hunter, it is an indicator of ecosystem health. A strong jaguar population means there is enough prey, enough habitat, enough riverbank forest, and enough space for a top predator to survive. Jaguar reproduction. Jaguars can reproduce throughout the year, although timing may vary depending on prey availability and environmental conditions. Females usually give birth after a gestation of around 3 months. A litter can include 1 to 4 cubs, though 2 is common. The cubs are born blind and helpless. For the first weeks, the mother hides them in dense vegetation, caves, or protected areas. She hunts alone and returns to nurse them. As they grow, the cubs begin to follow their mother, learning the routes of the river, the smell of prey, and the patience of ambush. For a young jaguar, the Pantanal is both a school and a battlefield. King of the Pantanal, the caiman is one of its ancient soldiers. Caimans are everywhere in parts of the Pantanal. They rest on muddy banks, float with only their eyes above water, and wait silently in the shallows. The most famous in the region is the caiman. Caimans are opportunistic predators. They eat fish, crustaceans, insects, amphibians, birds, small mammals, and sometimes other reptiles. Young caimans feed on smaller prey, while larger adults can take bigger animals when the opportunity appears. During the dry season, when pools shrink and fish become concentrated, caimans gather in large numbers. This is a time of abundance for them. But even caimans are not safe. In the Pantanal, jaguars are known to hunt them. The predator can become prey. Caiman reproduction. Caimans usually nest during the rainy season or around the beginning of the wet period, when conditions are better for eggs and young. Females build nests using vegetation and mud. As the plant material decomposes, it produces heat, helping incubate the eggs. A female caiman guards her nest and may protect her hatchlings after they emerge. This is important because young caimans are vulnerable. Birds, larger fish, mammals, and even other reptiles may eat them. Only a small number survive to adulthood. But those that do become part of one of the Pantanal's most successful reptile populations. Near the rivers, you will often see groups of large brown animals grazing calmly. These are capybaras, the largest rodents in the world. At first, they seem peaceful and almost comic. But in the Pantanal, the capybara is one of the most important prey animals in the ecosystem. Capybaras are semi-aquatic mammals. They live close to rivers, lakes, swamps, and marshes, and they are strong swimmers. They can escape danger by running into water, where they can stay submerged for several minutes. Their diet is herbivorous, mainly grasses, aquatic plants, fruits, and bark. They live in social groups, often with dominant males, females, young animals, and subordinate males. In the dry season, groups may become more visible around remaining water sources. But visibility means danger. Jaguars watch them. Anacondas may ambush them. Caimans may attack young or weak individuals. The capybara survives by staying close to the group, listening carefully, and running to water at the first sign of danger. Capybara reproduction. Capybaras can breed throughout the year, but reproduction often increases when food is abundant, especially around wetter periods. After a gestation of around 5 months, females give birth to several young. The babies are well developed at birth and can follow the group soon after. This social life helps them survive. In a world full of predators, the group is protection. One animal watches while another feeds. One alarm call can save many lives. The giant otter is one of the most charismatic animals of the Pantanal. Long, powerful, loud, and social, it lives in family groups along rivers and lakes. It is the longest member of the weasel family and is strongly adapted to life in water, with webbed feet, dense fur, and a powerful tail. The giant otter lives in parts of the Amazon and Pantanal, feeds mainly on fish, and is listed as endangered. In Portuguese, it is sometimes called onca da água, the water jaguar. That name fits. Giant otters are fierce, intelligent, and highly vocal. They communicate with whistles, snorts, barks, and other sounds. A family group moving through the river can sound like a conversation of wild spirits. Their main food is fish, especially species found in rivers and flooded areas. They may also eat crabs, turtles, snakes, and occasionally small caimans. They hunt together, often surrounding prey or driving fish toward each other. But the giant otter is not only a predator, it is also vulnerable. Its population was heavily reduced by hunting for fur in the past, and today it still faces threats from habitat destruction, pollution, disturbance, and conflict with humans. Giant otter reproduction. Giant otters live in family groups usually centered around a breeding pair. They use dens along riverbanks, often close to good fishing areas. Breeding often relates to water levels and food availability. After a gestation of around 2 months, the female gives birth in a den. The pups are born helpless and depend on the family. This is one of the most beautiful things about giant otters. The whole group helps raise the young. Older siblings may guard, teach, and assist. In the Pantanal, survival is not only about strength. Sometimes, survival is family. In the flooded grasslands and river channels of the Pantanal, one predator moves almost without being seen. The green anaconda. It is one of the largest snakes in the world, built for an aquatic life of patience and ambush. Anacondas are not fast hunters over land. Their kingdom is the water. They hide among vegetation, wait near trails, and strike when prey comes close. Their diet can include fish, birds, reptiles, capybaras, caimans, and even larger mammals when the snake is big enough. Capybaras and caimans are among the prey recorded for green anacondas. The anaconda does not use venom. It uses power. After striking, it coils around the prey and constricts, stopping the animal from breathing. Then it swallows the prey whole. This can look brutal, but in the Pantanal, every predator is part of the balance. The anaconda controls prey populations. And even the anaconda has enemies when young. Birds, caimans, larger snakes, and mammals may kill juvenile snakes. Anaconda reproduction. Green anacondas are unusual because they give birth to live young rather than laying eggs like many other snakes. Mating often happens in or near water. Several males may gather around one female in what is sometimes called a breeding ball. After months of development, the female gives birth to many young snakes. From the first moment, they are independent. There is no family protection, no teaching, no mercy. A young anaconda enters the Pantanal alone. Not every icon of the Pantanal is a predator. Some rule the sky. The hyacinth macaw is one of the most beautiful birds in the world. Deep blue feathers, yellow skin around the eyes and beak, and a powerful curved bill. It is the largest flying parrot species, reaching about 1 meter in length. It is native to Central and Eastern South America and is listed as vulnerable, with habitat loss and illegal trapping among major threats. In the Pantanal, hyacinth macaws often depend on palm nuts, which they crack open with the powerful bills. Their diet includes nuts from specific palm species, making them closely tied to the health of the local vegetation. They are loud, social, intelligent, and highly visible when flying across the open sky in pairs. Hyacinth macaw reproduction. The hyacinth macaw usually nests in tree cavities, and in the Pantanal, old trees such as manduvi trees can be especially important for nesting. Nest availability can be limited because suitable cavities take many years to form. The breeding season in the Pantanal is often linked to the dry season and early wet season months, when nesting conditions and food availability support chick development. Usually, the female lays 1 or 2 eggs, but often only 1 chick survives. The parents invest heavily in the young. A macaw chick grows slowly and depends on adults for protection and food. This makes conservation difficult. If nesting trees disappear, the next generation disappears with them. The tapir is one of the strangest and most important mammals in the Pantanal. At first glance, it looks like a mix between a pig, a horse, and something ancient. But the tapir is its own unique animal. It is shy, mostly solitary, and often active at night or in low light. Tapirs are herbivores. They eat leaves, fruits, aquatic plants, shoots, and soft vegetation. They are excellent swimmers and often use water to cool down, escape predators, and feed. Tapirs with access to rivers spend significant time in and around water, feeding on soft vegetation and taking refuge from predators. The tapir is sometimes called a gardener of the forest. Why? Because it eats fruits and spreads seeds through its droppings. As it moves through the landscape, it helps regenerate vegetation. A tapir is not dramatic like a jaguar. It does not dominate the river like a caiman. It does not fill the sky like a macaw. But quietly, step by step, it helps shape the forest. Tapir reproduction. Tapirs reproduce slowly. A female usually gives birth to a single calf after a gestation of about 13 months. Under good conditions, she may reproduce about every 2 years. Young tapirs have striped and spotted coats that help camouflage them in the forest shadows. This slow reproduction makes tapirs vulnerable. If adults are hunted or habitat disappears, populations recover slowly. In the Pantanal, the tapir represents the quiet side of survival. Not speed, not aggression, patience, memory, movement through the forest. The Pantanal is not only about large animals. Its true power is in the web of life. Fish feed birds, birds spread seeds, insects feed frogs, frogs feed snakes, snakes feed birds and mammals. Caimans control fish and other animals. Jaguars control caimans and capybaras. Giant otters control fish populations. Everything is connected. The Pantanal has been reported to support hundreds of bird species and hundreds of fish species, making it one of the richest wetland ecosystems on Earth. The Guardian reported at least 380 species of fish, 580 types of birds, and more than 2,000 plant species in the region. Bird life is one of the most spectacular features of this ecosystem. Jabiru storks stand tall in wetlands. Roseate spoonbills flash pink across the water. Kingfishers dive. Herons wait in silence. Macaws scream from the trees. Vultures circle above carcasses. Every bird has a role. Every sound belongs to the landscape. Even the smallest creatures matter. Snails, insects, frogs, and fish help recycle nutrients and feed larger animals. In the Pantanal, the food chain is not a straight line. It is a web, and water touches every part of it. The Pantanal looks wild, but it is not untouchable. It faces serious threats: wildfires, drought, deforestation, agricultural expansion, illegal hunting, river alteration, climate change, industrial development. In recent years, the Pantanal has suffered major fires, worsened by drought and human activity. Reports in 2024 described severe wildfire impacts and chronic drought affecting the region. Another major concern is the plan to develop the Paraguay River as a commercial waterway. Critics warn that dredging and altering river channels could affect the natural flood pulse that supports fish, birds, mammals, and local communities. This matters because the Pantanal is not just a place for animals. People live here too. River communities depend on fishing, small-scale farming, traditional knowledge, and the natural rhythm of the floodplain. If the rivers change, everything changes. The fish, the birds, the jaguars, the people. The Pantanal teaches one clear lesson: destroy the water cycle, and you destroy the kingdom. The Pantanal is one of the greatest wildlife regions on Earth. It is a land where jaguars hunt caimans, where giant otters move like river wolves, where capybaras survive by living together, where anacondas wait beneath the water, where blue macaws fly above the trees, where tapirs walk silently through the forest, planting the future. But this world depends on balance. The flood must come, the dry season must return, the rivers must breathe, the forests must stand, the animals must have space. If the Pantanal survives, it will remain one of the last great kingdoms of wild water. If it disappears, we will not only lose a wetland, we will lose a living masterpiece. A place where nature still writes its story in mud, rain, feathers, claws, scales, and silence. This is the Pantanal, Brazil's secret kingdom of jaguars, and one of the last places on Earth where the wild still feels truly alive.